You're listening to Dramas Over Flowers with Saya, Anisa, and Paroma.
Hi, I'm Saya.
I'm Anisa.
And I'm Paroma. And we are back with another long yak of random dramas that we have picked up in the last month and other things that we are sampling right now. And enjoy the next hour. Ta-da!
I feel like we should have said, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning for you. And Anisa just got off work, and
Saya should already be in bed.
Don't know what I'm doing.
We're all unhinged. Is the takeaway? No, I feel like it's been a while since it's been the three of us.
Yeah. It's been a couple of months, I think, at this point.
Not a couple of months, like a month.
Oh, has it just been a month? It feels longer.
Yeah, we did Lovely Runner. Just
But
the
that
three
wasn't
of
just
us.
Yeah.
the three of us, though.
That's
Also,
true.
it's been like 2 months
We
even
did
since
the
that.
fandom episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, I missed you guys. So
I missed
hi.
you.
I missed you.
Hi.
Hi. And listeners, we missed you as well. So
Yeah.
is everyone ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's do
이
that.
남자 15년간 그토록 잊고 싶었던 고통을 드디어 지원했다.
잃어버린 기억 되찾을 수 있을까요?
기억 못해도 돼요. 내가 기억하니까. 뭐 하고 싶은 거 있어요? 하고 싶은 거 다 해줄게요.
셋하면 눈 뜨는 거예요.
First, we're going to talk about this new drama that just started airing 4 days ago. Last week, anyway. So my darling Jae-jung is back with a drama after his disaster of a bomb, of a flop in 2017, Manhole, which is also always reminds me of right when we started this show because it started airing really, really soon after we started Dramas Over Flowers.
Yeah.
I think we did a first impressions episode or something.
We did that video version
Back
of
when
it.
we were doing it on YouTube. Yeah.
That's right. So nostalgic. Don't go back and
That
listen.
sounded like we recorded it in the
yeah,
bathroom.
don't go back and listen, y'all.
As a friend described.
It also
Yeah,
it
don't.
was one of the first videos I ever edited, and it was
Wow.
not good.
We've all come a long way since 2017.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I mean,
Oh, Jae-jung.
I have a very soft spot for him. I don't know. I mean, people who know him might know about his long journey with just life. You know, he used to be part of DBSK, TVXQ, and then there were 5 of them. They were under SM, and they were under these what they would call slave contracts, just 7 or 9 year contracts.
Yeah.
Really inequitable, horrible contracts. So 3 of them left, and 2 of them decided to stay. But basically, after that, for many, many years, the 3 of them, they formed their own group, but they weren't allowed to perform on TV because
really?
SM basically blacklisted them because they had so much power in the
Wow.
industry. So they couldn't make any kind of appearances. And so the only way they could come on TV is if they acted in dramas. And so Jae-jung and his bandmate, who we won't mention because he's been revealed to be a sexual predator. Anyway, they did a lot of shows. But Jae-jung didn't. I feel like Jae-jung didn't do a lot of dramas. He would occasionally do a drama, and now he's been making my heart happy with his Jae-친구 YouTube series, where he just brings his friends.
He's so adorable.
And also people that he wants to be friends with on. He cooks them food, asks them questions about their life.
It's the
Some of these
best
are
talk show.
It's
So
so
for
good.
me is
love him.
Suchita, J
It's
Friends
that level.
and J
Yeah,
Friends and
yeah.
IU's palette are at the same level for me, which is high compliments.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They're just so chill, and you can tell how genuine they are.
Yes.
And
And
he's a really good host.
He's
warmth.
so good, and
Yes.
he's so good at making people talk about themselves. He's really
Yeah.
good at drawing people out, and also because he's cooking for them,
Yeah.
they kind of lower their
It's,
guard. Or some of
yeah.
these people are people first gen idols that he's known since the year 2000 or 1995, and so they have these story so he just had I think my favorite episode is the one where Soo-young comes on and they just talk crap about SM in the old days and what was going on behind the scenes, and also she just owns him. She has that severe Nuna energy, and he's just like, you can tell he just like admires her so much. Anyway, so all that to say, I was really excited to see that he had a new drama, but the drama is so whack, y'all. It's called Bad Memory Eraser. Bad Memory Eraser stars Jaejung and Jin Se-yeon. Jin Se-yeon I haven't seen since Bridal Mask. It's been a long time. And I was saying to my sister, like, I really don't like her because maybe this is unfair to say, she kind of gives like Nepo baby vibes, because I'm like, why are you on my screen? You have no talent. You have no screen presence. I don't understand. But I was like, well, I haven't seen her since 2012. Maybe she has improved. She hasn't really improved.
Wait, didn't you watch Born Again? Am I imagining that you watched it? The one with Jung Ki-young and what's his name? Lee Soo-hyuk? No?
No, I don't think I watched that.
Because she was so annoying in that one too.
Oh, so she's continued
I thought that was about to be a recommendation.
Okay. All right. Well,
I last saw her in Doctor Strange, and she was annoying in that too.
but I was like,
She just has a very limited range.
and
I just
she also
feel
has
bad.
that kind of self-consciousness where you can tell she wants to look nice in front of the camera, and it holds her back from like actually emoting, which you know, it's okay. I mean, I
But
understand.
Park Min-young has that as well.
Yeah, Park Min-young do. And
So it doesn't necessarily prevent you from emoting. Like, they are two different things.
I mean,
Although
I
perhaps
feel
in
like
Jin
it
Se-yeon it's the
can
same thing.
sometimes prevent Park Min-young from emoting too.
This is true.
So
this is true.
I think it holds you back from fully inhabiting the character because you're too
Yeah.
worried about how you look. Which, like, you know, I understand life is hard for an actress who's expected to be beautiful, but it's just doesn't make for a very satisfying experience as a viewer. But I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna give her another chance. Jaejung is back on my screen, and then I like read the synopsis, and it was like a man with a really tough past has his bad memories erased and gets a new lease on life. I was like, okay, is this like time travel, fantasy? There's magic? No. So this guy, all right.
Just no.
No magic. There's no magic. It's supposed to be science, medicine.
Oh, it's like it's like
Okay.
what is that? Eternal sunshine of a spotless mind. That.
Okay, let
Or
me
like
tell
50
you
First
the
Dates
premise
or
of
something.
this drama. Okay,
Okay.
He was like a tennis prodigy when he was a kid. He has this he wins this medal, like the first big medal he wins. The ball kind of goes off and like almost hits his little brother, so he like dives to save his younger brother from getting killed, like hurt or whatever. Dramatically, and then gets an injury and can't play anymore. So it wasn't even a sports injury. It was like him randomly trying to save his brother. So he can't play anymore. His parents are like, well, we already have this expensive Australian coaching opportunity that we're going to take you abroad for. Now you're injured. Too bad. We're just going to leave you with your grandma and take your younger brother instead. So they abandon him in Korea and go to Australia for like God knows how many years. After he just like had his like genius career cut short. Oh, sorry. Spoilers for the first couple of episodes. So to add insult to injury. So he's like running after his parents' taxi. They don't even say goodbye to him. He's like sobbing. He's like, Oma, come back. And they're just like, leave. And then you see like present day. He's like the chauffeur. They put all of the like, they give him all of like the grunt work. His brother is now this like celebrity that everybody loves. And he's like the black sheep of the family. It's horrible. It's like so depressing. I wanted to cry. Like this boy and his parents are the worst. And then
But why?
because he's can't play tennis anymore, so I guess he has no value. Especially his mom. His mom is the worst. So meanwhile, like there's this doctor, this is Jin Se-yeon. She's like developing this new surgery where you can like have a surgical like brain surgery and like erase all the bad memories of your life. Which
Wait,
no one
and
thinks
then
that
he
this
has
is
a romance
ethically-
with her?
Just keep listening. So
Oh,
nobody
gross.
brings up like there might be some problems, you know, if you erase everyone's bad memories, like how are they supposed to function as a human being? It doesn't matter. She's like, I'm gonna get this grant money, I'm gonna get this research funding, I'm gonna be famous. So anyway, he ends up making an extreme choice. You know what that means, right? And so he's brought into the hospital, and his brother is like, well, he wanted to die anyway. Let's just like do this surgery on him where like he's gonna get all of his memories erased
Without his consent?
Wow.
without his consent. His brother makes that decision for him because he's like, well, you're so miserable. So and you tried to,
But
you know,
isn't the family
we-
making him miserable though?
they sure are.
You haven't thrown the drama out the window already?
I'm
Listen, though,
amazed.
Jaejung is so good at acting, and I care about him so much already.
This is so true.
But
This is
the
why I carried on
doctor
watching Manhole.
is so she does the surgery on him, and then she's like, oh, he wakes up, and then he's like, oh, you're my first love, and she's like, but I'm not your first love, and then she talks to her advisor, and he's like, well, this is our one chance to do human testing because our mouse experiment didn't work. So just pretend to be his first love. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll make him happy because he would have died otherwise. I'm just like, what? I just don't even. But it's also like
Awful.
surprisingly very watchable. Like I watched the first 2 episodes. I'm going to watch episode 3.
Why does this
Oh,
feel
dear.
like you're back in like 2000s?
It really does, actually, doesn't it?
It's very old school. It's very maybe it's the nostalgia. I'm like, yeah, you know, we can hate watch this.
No, but you know what? This is what I'm telling you guys. Mid-budget dramas are back again, and they have brought back the wackiness of K-dramas. Like the concepts that they are spinning with, man, are just like out there.
Yeah, like the thing is this drama gonna crash and burn in like 3 episodes from now? Probably, but also like it's different. It's kind of funny. Like I really feel for him. He's acting his heart out. Like he's so funny. Like so after he has the surgery, he becomes this like super narcissistic, self-important like. He's just like, yeah, I'm the best. He like goes home. He goes into his little brother's room because his room is like where the kimchi fridge is. And it's like a dark cave. So he goes into his brother's room. And he's like looking at all the trophies and his like amazing designer suits because apparently his tennis stars are now K-pop idols with like CFs and like fans and. Anyway, so he goes in, he like puts on his fancy clothes. And he's like, yeah, this is so. And his brother can't say anything because like he's the one who decided to turn him into this. Frankenstein, whatever. So that part's kind of funny. I feel like they're heading for a redemption with the mom, which like she doesn't deserve to be redeemed. So when that happens, I'm gonna nope out. But like for now, it's kind
Wow.
of just like so bad
But
it's
like,
good, you know?
what could the story be? What is the story arc possibly going to be with this?
My
do
sister
his
and I were
memories
watching
come
it
back?
together, and we were like, "This woman needs to go to jail. Like somebody needs to sue her for medical malpractice. Like it's so
Yeah.
unbelievably unethical."
They went from mouse tracks to human tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have like one little like
That's
rushed
wild.
meeting, ethics meeting, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this. And she like begs for a chance. And they're like, okay, sure.
Yes, girl boss close to the sun.
And that equals consent.
Oh.
Right.
It's pretty horrifying.
nuts.
It's horrifying on many levels. But Jeju,
But Jaejung, yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand that. I've definitely
Yeah.
watched bad dramas for one actor.
I watched way too many episodes of Manhole for that guy.
Same. I didn't even finish it in the end, but like Jaejung.
I didn't either. I think I noped out around episode 4-ish. So I still don't know what happens in there.
The worst part is that was such a great pairing.
Yeah.
Like Yui and Jaejung. Like they are the right, like they're a good pair.
Yeah, I don't know why he
And I
keeps
love
choosing
Yui.
these weird and bad scripts. Like,
I feel like he doesn't choose them. I feel like somebody comes and begs him to do.
And he does it because he feels sorry for
Yeah,
them.
that's wonderful.
That is a very Jaejung kind
he's
of
a
thing
very
to do.
yeah. He seems like a very nice person that wouldn't really say no to someone that he has a relationship with, which probably gets him into some bad situations.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just want him to catch a break, man. Like he's such a good actor.
Yeah, like he needs to do one of these like
sensation dramas, like his Lovely Runner. Can he have it, please?
Or even like a serious
Imshi-won
drama.
type of rose.
Yeah, Imshi-won. Like something really serious and interesting. And he could pull it off. He can do pathos. He can do
like he's
drama.
very
he can do
sensitive.
humor.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Do you think that he's just
He's so
not
funny.
interested in doing serious roles? Like he just wants to do wacky romances, and
Maybe?
that's like unfortunate. Like his sense of humor might get tickled by aspects of these stories, and then the execution is just horrible.
But I
Which
mean, he
doesn't
must
expect.
he must care about being successful too, right? Like because he didn't do another drama after Manhole flopped. It's been 7 years.
The thing is, Manhole didn't merely flop. It was literally the lowest viewed K-drama of all time.
Yeah, I mean, if
So that- I feel so
flopping
bad
is an
for him with
understatement.
that.
It just
Yeah.
bombed. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
But like of all time, it wasn't even like, it wasn't just like sort of mid bad. It was just like the absolute paldak, right? It was the ground.
I
So-
don't actually know it was the lowest viewed of all time. This is
Yeah.
trivia that I
that
just
kind of
found
makes my
out.
heart hurt.
Yeah. That is sad. Yeah,
So I need him to have a really good drama that like
he is
highlights
like
how great he
successful
is.
without an acting career though, so I think he'll be okay. But man, he does have really
But I want
bad
everyone
luck.
to appreciate how good
Yeah.
he is in a drama that is like his level.
Yeah, the
Like,
thing is, he doesn't need to be successful in dramas because he's already successful in so many other areas of life. But as someone who appreciates his talent, I'm like, there are so many less talented people getting better roles.
Yeah.
Why can't you get one of these roles, you know? So,
yeah.
Just next time somebody begs him, I hope that person also has like some talent in like
someone needs to
Writing and
introduce him to
directing.
like the stranger writer or like, you know, one of these writers who, Lovely Runner writer. Someone. He needs to make friends with one of these names.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or even he needs to do one of those like bro dramas, you know, like the older ajashi.
Oh my gosh.
or
He would
the
be so
rival
good
men
in
the
a
same
bromance
age.
drama. Like one of
Yeah.
those. Anyway, we've been talking about him for too long.
We haven't been talking about him for long enough.
Yes, that is true.
But yeah.
Always and every day, but also let's talk about another bromance drama instead.
Okay. Which one?
So then
I don't know
the
which
next
one this
the
is.
next two on our list could be, you know, I feel like they could both kind of apply. But let's talk about My Sweet Mobster first.
하나 씨 정말 많이 좋아합니다. 왜?
연애고자요?
You're both watching this, right?
Paroma and I are both watching it. Paroma, how many episodes have you watched?
I think I'm about 4 episodes from the end.
Who's in this?
Omtegu. I've forgotten the girl's
Who is
name.
he again? I have to go. Oh, him.
Yeah,
Oh, Han Sun-hwa.
Yeah.
Hansen.
Wow, I haven't seen her in a drama for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
She hasn't really had. Has she even had a lead role before this? I feel like this is her first lead role.
I haven't watched her in anything before this, but she.
I watched her in God's Gift in
of
2014.
course, God's gift, right?
God's Gift 14 Days,
I
yeah.
completely forgot she was in that.
Oh, she was in Marriage Not Dating as well, apparently.
She was, and that was
And School 2017.
Yeah, I think
These are the-
so.
of
I've
the
seen
dramas
her
we've
in
watched.
Marriage Not Dating, School 2017. She was also in Radiant Office, I think.
I haven't watched that one, but I've heard it was good.
It was good. But she was like not even a second lead, more like almost like a secondary character, tertiary character. I'm just surprised to see her in a lead role. And I mean, let's talk about the drama before we start talking about her. I talked a
Okay.
lot, so you talk about it first, Parma.
Okay, so all right. So My Sweet Mobster is basically about this. What is her career? Like a child influencer? Sounds wrong. Child.
Yeah, she's like a
I mean,
child,
yes,
like a children's
that's wrong.
content creator.
Yeah, that's the right way of saying it. A children's content creator, and she is just not a very popular one. She tries her best. She's very earnest. She tries to stay honest in her job. And she has corporate overlords because she works for one of these content creation companies. And while she is struggling in this company to meet their like viewership quota and, trying to not take on unethical sponsors and stuff, she runs across this man who is who is basically an ex mobster. And their first impressions aren't great. They both think they are trying to kill each other, but it quickly devolves into he just sees her like blow bubbles and dance around with children and completely loses his heart. And it's like it's a literal loss of his heart. Like it's there is a heart shape that emerges from his chest and kind of flies away. That kind of illustration of losing his heart. And it is adorable. It's a stupidly cute drama. And they use Umtegu so well in this. This guy has done like so many gangster movies in the past.
Perfect. Like
He
I have
is
some feelings
amazing.
about her, but him, like perfect casting.
I have to say, I really liked Hansanwa's casting in this because somehow maybe the way they have written her character, they haven't made her too syrupy. Like I've seen characters like this in other dramas where they are unbearably syrupy and stupid. She is not that. She has relatively a good amount of control over her decisions, her fate, and she communicates well. Like when there's a problem, she actually talks about it. And just generally, she's a sensible character, which I was not expecting given the profile of the character who's like this, oh, kids, I love them, and I'm sweet, and rainbows pop out behind me wherever I'm walking.
It's a very easy character to become too much. And
Too much,
unlikable.
yeah. But it's somehow she strikes the right balance. The writing doesn't overdo her character. But paired with Umtegu, they have a surprising amount of chemistry. And what really works with the whole gangster vibe thing is, okay, so Umtegu's character, his name is Soji Hwan. He is now running a company of ex-mobsters, ex-convicts, basically.
It's called Thirsty Deer.
Yeah, it's called Thirsty Deer. And previously, he used to be the member of like the Bulldog gang, and their main rivals are the Kitty gangs.
The guy who runs a kitty gang is called Ko Young Hee. Which, if you don't speak Korean, means
Translates.
cat.
Koyangi.
Yeah. So it's Ko Young Hee, but it's like Ko Young Hee. Like that's his name.
Yeah, so Koyangi translates to cat, and he's the head of the Kitty gang and the Bulldog gang. That's the okay. So with that rivalry, and that rivalry is kind of hilarious, but also there are moments when it gets a bit serious. So you never know how to actually approach it. It's like it's not laugh out loud, but on the other hand, the undertones are just they're funny. Honestly, for like 3/4 of the drama, they do a good job of balancing the seriousness of having ex-convicts try to create a new life for themselves. And so this company of ex-convicts, they're basically like a meat supply company. And obviously they face some amount of prejudice, especially when they try to do like front-facing salesmanship. So they have these ex-convicts sales people who go out to the public and interact, and sometimes that doesn't go very well because people know that who works, like the general public, they are aware of who works in Thirsty Deer because that's one of the things that they make very clear in their advertising, I suppose. Like everybody knows. And so, of course, there is social prejudice that they're battling with. And initially, again, something I really like about this drama is that your heroine, so Han Sanwa is Go Yun-ha here. And so Yun-ha initially has her own prejudices. But of course, she can't just be like a normie having normie prejudices. She has extra prejudices because of childhood trauma.
Of course she does.
Yeah. But then she quickly realizes, like, she basically, has her prejudices on the one hand, and on the other hand, she sees, sort of judges them by their action, and quickly realizes that So Ji Hwan and his gang of just like these really interesting people who work in his company but also like stay with him in the same house. They're this bro gang, and she quickly realizes that they're actually very sweet people, and that they are generally trying to turn over a new leaf, and that social prejudice is making it harder for them. Anyway, so actually, like, there's a serious side of it that is dealt with, I think, pretty well. Anisa, sorry, like, I don't want to, like, the thing is, there is not much more to say about this drama because it's really
I have some things to say.
Execution. No, I mean, in the synopsis side of it, there's no more that I can say. The two of them meet. He falls in love instantly. She takes a little while, and this is a cohabitation drama. So she ends up living in that house with So Ji Hwan and his band of ex-convict people who are turning over a new leaf, and they all have their individual personalities and stories, and it's sweet. Sometimes there are a few serious moments, but it's all just it's really heartwarming. Their entire all of their dynamic. There is this parallel line that's happening in the background of this of Yunha looking for childhood Oppa, and she ends up kind of spotting the wrong one, and it reminds me a bit of like how they did it in What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, except it doesn't get that annoying, and we do have like the resolution happen relatively quickly, so it's not that bad.
I haven't gotten there
you didn't
yet,
think
so
that?
I haven't gotten to the resolutions, but I just really don't like the character.
Which one?
The prosecutor.
He's yeah.
He's
they
so
really made him
unnecessary.
annoying.
He's so judgmental. He's such a horrible person. Like, I just don't like anything about him. I don't understand why he's obsessed with her. Anyway, that aside though, like,
Because she
that's probably
lent
the
him an
one
umbrella when he got ditched by his date.
It was
She
a
lent him an
promotional umbrella with her brand on it. She doesn't love you, okay? It's just free advertising for her channel. You need to let go, bro.
She was nice to him, at an embarrassing moment. Doesn't that foster eternal love in everyone?
I also like that actor is just, he tends to play roles. I don't know if it's like his acting that I find annoying, or like he always picks roles of people. Like, he was also really irritating in Dali and Gamjatang.
Yeah.
I hated his character. So his whole thing and his whole like weird vendetta of like, he just saw So Ji Hwan in a location that looked suspicious, so now he thinks he's like evil incarnate, and he's gonna like continuously go after him for the rest of his life and try to catch him out in some kind of crime. I'm like, okay, this is the whole problem with like law enforcement right here. But anyway, I think that it's really
you're making your personal prejudice into something that you're abusing your power basically to basically execute personal vendetta at this point. And
it's actually really, and I think that the drama actually does a really good job of showing how dark that is, because there are times when he interacts with So Ji Hwan and he's like, yeah, I have access to all of your DNA. I know all of this information about you, and I think you're evil, and I'm like waiting to catch you out. And you're like, okay, like, is that something that you should be bragging about here? Like, are you like, he's acting like he has the moral high ground, but like, it's so clear that he's not the good guy in this conversation, right?
I like that the show does that, yeah. Because obviously, as soon as you put So Ji Hwan in the lead role, like the central good guy role, and the prosecutor sort of basically threatening him at every turn when he hasn't done anything wrong, immediately makes you be like, that prosecutor is shit.
Yeah.
Everybody
Also, like,
hates
I've just
him.
seen so many dramas where the prosecutors are like these unsung heroes of society, and they're working so hard, and we should love them. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure there are prosecutors like that, but also, they're not all that good, like they're and I think like what's really interesting about this drama that I don't think I've seen before is you have this whole group of central characters who you're rooting for, basically all these men who they've been in jail, they've come out, they're trying to like make a new life for themselves, and they don't ever let themselves off the hook.
Yeah.
So it's not like the drama is trying to be like, oh yeah, these angels. I mean, no, like we're rooting for them, but also like they're like, yeah, we did some bad stuff. And there's this one scene where Ji-won is talking to his right-hand man, butler, driver, I don't know, best friend, I don't know what, I don't really know what he is.
Second in command, yeah.
But he's also like a director at the company, so it's not like he's his. Anyway, so that actor also annoys me, but it's okay. It's not even him. It's like every time the camera is on him, it's like, oh, look, this guy is so handsome. And you're like, he's just a dude who's tall.
He's just a dude who's tall who hasn't quite figured out his acting cues as yet. So, like, he's young. He'll figure it out.
He's also, like, he's given the same treatment in Dreaming of a Freaking Fairy Tale. And I'm just kind of over it. But but anyway, so Ji-won has this one conversation with him where he's, like, talking about somebody that is missing, like, someone that is part of their group and who's missing, and they're kind of worried that he's, like, gotten back into a life of crime. And they're talking about it, and he says something like, it's actually really hard to be good. Like, temptation is always there.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think we ever get that. In a drama, the good people are always good, and it's easy to be good, and the bad people are just bad. I mean, there's no, like, moral complexity usually. Or if somebody, like, is going to become good at the end, we have signals that they're going to become good from the beginning. It's, like, pretty... Whereas here, there's, I mean, yes, it's a light, fluffy drama. It's a romance. It's very cute. But also there's these moments where, like, it's not easy for someone who has come out of a life where they took a lot of shortcuts. And he even says this to one of his employees. He's like, you're used to making it easy money. Are you going to be able to, like, work a regular job and work hard to, like, get everything that you get? Like, are you going to be able to, like, stick with that? Because it's not going to be as easy as what you've done before. And so, like, even the fact that he has them all in his house, he's like, yeah, he knows that he needs to support them, because if they go off and live by themselves, it might be hard. They might, fall in with an old crowd. And so I think that's, like, really interesting.
So many of these small moments. And I'm actually very impressed by the writer, because they put it in seamlessly so that if you're not already sensitive to the issue, you might not even notice that they put it in there. But these are very important conversations. Yeah. And it's very organic. Like, in reference to what you just said, this was a conversation that he was having with Yuna. And Yuna's like, oh, so you must really love these people. You must trust them a lot because you keep them close. They're living in your house. And he's like, no, it's because I don't trust them. It's because I need to keep an eye on them so they don't go back to that life, which is why I keep them close to me so I can keep an eye on them. And, like, just like, that's not something a heroic character, central good guy would usually say, because that implies that, oh, my friends are not trustworthy. I don't have, like, because trust is such a central thing to all relationships in stories like these. But honestly, this is so much more realistic and so much more helpful. There's another moment I really love, which is a different dynamic. So one of his employees is really into, like, branding and getting his company's goods really out there. And I think we spoke about this in a previous episode briefly. And they do this thing where he comes to Umtego's character, So Ji-hwan, and is like, listen, this other company's meat products are just, they are the best, they are number one, but we can be there, we can be at that spot. And he's, like, really pushing for this branding opportunity. And So Ji-hwan turns to him and is like, when was that ever our goal? Our goal was to give employment to ex-cons, to give all of us a better life, a second chance that the rest of society didn't want to give us. When was our goal ever to be number one in the industry? That was just never. And I have never, not once, ever heard any it's listen, South Korea is practically equal to capitalist haven at this point.
Also,
It's like,
he's the CEO. Have you ever heard
Yeah.
a CEO character say that?
Yeah, exactly. I was just bowled over because the idea of social responsibility being more important than capitalist profitability is just, you don't see that happening in dramas often. And when they try to do it, they usually bungle it up. But I was actually amazed that they did such a good job of it. And honestly, how deep are you into the drama?
I've watched 7 episodes so far. How many have
Okay.
you watched?
I think I've watched 11 at this point. Oh wait, or 10. 10, I think. Something around that. And it's, I think I know where it's going. I think I'm not going to enjoy the last stretch as much because they are focusing a lot more. Like they're bringing in characters now and doing that final arc. The pushing up of stakes thing. So they're bringing in like an old mobster who's going to like be messing with. So Jihan right now,
Okay.
and I just really did not need that. that plot was really not required, but I can see that that's coming.
Because,
yeah.
I love the theme of like making mistakes and then picking yourself up and you keep going and you don't have to be perfect. And like she's that way too, right? She makes
Yeah.
mistakes and then her whole thing is like, I'm gonna just keep going, which is great. It's a great theme to have.
It is. Briefly in her content creation career thing, I like that they show her as a salaried employee at the start of the drama, because I don't think we see this as
She's not a salaried employee. She's a contract worker.
Yeah, sorry, she's a contract worker, but like she works for a company and isn't like an independent content creator. So she has a producer who's like doing her editing and handling the cameras and all of that and doing promotions and all of that. And it's a situation where like we think of content creation as such an independent thing where each individual comes up like with their unique concepts and pursues it and stuff. So I like that they showed that simply because, like in Asian countries, South Korea, China, you tend to have this happen a lot. As soon as somebody, they literally go to a company and audition to be one of the content creators. So the channel is completely owned by the company and they are started off as the face of that channel. And then, they kind of promote and see how far that goes. That was interesting to watch as well. No, but her journey to go from like somebody who works for a company to becoming an independent, content creator, just like starting her own YouTube channel and trying to organically reach audiences was hilarious to me because it's such a, like her discovering that she can have her own channel and like run it by herself was just such
I'm glad that happens because right now I'm like yelling at her, like, just start your own channel. Why do you? So,
Yes,
I'm
but
glad
like-
that eventually happens.
What is just hilarious to me is the fact that this is an arc. Like this is something she had to like how. It's YouTube. Do you not know you can start your own channel? What do you mean?
You is in the title. YouTube. That's
Yeah. But that was.
Yeah, I mean, so I know we've been talking about this for a long time, but like before we move on, I just want to say about Han Sun-hwa, like I do think that like her character is written well. I mean, she's fine. I do kind of wish that they had cast someone who was like a little bit more charismatic, but it's okay. Like I was thinking like Jin Ki-ju, like from Secret Life of My Secretary would have been perfect because she has that like really likable energy. She's kind of quirky. She's like, she could wear that like child like wardrobe that Han Sun-hwa wears and look very cute in it. It's kind of horrifying outfits that she wears, but whatever. Like she's a child content creator, so I'm like, whatever. Like I don't need to like her fashion, but I just think that she would have more energy. Han Sun-hwa is very like, I don't know. I know she's trying to be like a calm and sweet person, but it's a little too old school K-drama heroine for me sometimes.
But I think they were going for an old school K-drama heroine. I just got the sense that, again, like it's in the last 6 months or so that I've been feeling like they finally ran out of Netflix money, so they aren't they aren't making these big budget dramas that often anymore. So they are bringing in these like old school tropes, like these wacky concepts, and sometimes some good stuff comes up, like this one, like My Sweet Mobster. Honestly, is a concept that would not have had big money behind it, would not have had big stars behind it, but I love the casting. I love how they just went about creating this. It's you gotta love the promotional material for this stuff too. They use that whole, there is this one poster where you have Umtegu just being like his mobster self, like this dark poster where he's wearing all black, and then he has like pink earrings. It's the best.
Yeah.
It looks so pretty.
Yeah, I mean, and like, she is fine. I think what really makes it is his character. Just this contrast.
Absolutely.
Like someone describes him as having a hard shell and a soft custardy interior at some point, and like, that's it. That's who he is. He
And
has
also,
this like really, his voice
yes,
is perfect, and he's done so many. So the last thing I saw him in was this amazing like colonial era film called The Age of Shadows. I included it in my thesis. It's like a heist movie set in like the 30s. They're like trying to fight Japan. So he's like the evil Japanese military guy or whatever. Like, he's done so many villain roles. He's done so many crime lord roles. Like, so like, just, it kind of breaks my brain to see him in this role, because he's like, you have all this knowledge of all of his like movie career role, like all this like noir and like crime roles in the back of your mind, and then he's playing this like really sweet dude who's just born into a crime family, but he just wants to live and love this girl and be happy and watch her on YouTube. Like, that's all he wants. He just wants to like take care of his people. It's just very sweet.
Pretty much. Well, there is, okay, so one thing before we move on, I think the reason I don't know if that was the reason, but it kind of feels like it might have been at least one of the contributing factor for casting this pair, is because in Save Me season 2, she was a supporting character called Go Yoon-ah, as opposed to Go Yoon-ha in My Sweet Mobster. And they had good chemistry there. It was a chaotic chemistry.
Oh, so they've
that
acted
happened in the
before
background
together. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they were apparently like, there was like a tiny fandom for that pairing. So when their casting came up, I don't know if this was like a substantial influence, but this was definitely something that people remembered, their pairing. And because as soon as the first episode started airing, people were like, they were in that together and we love them so much. That whole thing started happening.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, interesting.
Okay. Saya, you can come back now.
Saya's
I mean, I
she's
didn't
been watching
know
us
you
with
were.
like this
I'm just trying
gentle
to stay
smile on her
awake.
face this whole time.
쥐새끼를 잡고 싶어 지원했습니다. 쥐새끼를 다 잡고 나면 회사를 옮깁니다. 제1건설 같이 쥐새끼가 우글거리는 곳으로.
네 눈가리엔 싹 다 비릿덩어리고 사람 속이는 걸로 보이지?
팀장님,
믿음을 이용한 죄가 얼마나 큰지 최선을 다해 보여주겠습니다. 협조 안 하시면 의심.
Okay, so the next drama that we're going to be talking about is one that I've been trying to get these guys to watch for a few weeks at least. I've been basically we've been having random conversations and I've been inserting the name of this drama and going like, you guys haven't started this yet. You guys aren't watching this yet. Go watch this. I may have overhyped it to a certain
No
point.
emotional blackmail was involved.
So we're both watching it now.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I wasn't now, because I'm like 55 minutes into episode 1 and you guys are going to say things that are going to be spoilers.
No. We'll
and
only
then
stick
I'm
to,
going to be
we'll only stick to episode 1.
unhappy.
Let's keep it very general and very like
Yeah.
basic premise.
I haven't even finished episode 1.
Yeah, we forced her to abandon it at 55 minutes. and
I've only
she's
seen
just-
2 episodes also. So I mean, I'm not
Okay.
like super far in as well. Paroma, you've seen a lot more of it, right?
I've seen 4.5. I'm on the 5th episode right now. Okay, so hold on. Let me bring up the actor list because even though I love all the actors in here, I'm shit with names. Okay, cool. So the thing is, I started watching Auditors because randomly I started seeing people talk about how awesome Auditors is, and I'm like, I didn't even know that this drama was airing. What is it? So I went and looked it up, and the first person I recognized here was Shin Ha-kyun because he's in Beyond Evil. That's the only thing I've ever seen him in. And he seemed to be in a totally different role. But I loved him in Beyond Evil. So I was like, let me try this. And he is literally in a very different role. You would not know it's the same person at all. Except for the fact that Shin Ha-kyun he's amazing. The other person that it took me a while to recognize, I think it was the episode end, and I finally made the connection because he seems so familiar, is this younger member of the auditor team, and that's Lee Jung-ha. He's your protagonist from Moving, the teenage boy who floats. And finally, it took me 2 episodes. I don't know if you guys have met him yet. But Jin-gu is in it.
Jin-gu.
I just started rewatching Descendants of the Sun last month, so I was like, what? I know this face. Where have I seen him? And it took me too long.
I have
But
missed Jingu. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't, because he's been in movies for the last few years. He's just not been very interested in doing dramas. But I'm really enjoying his character.
So The Auditors is basically, I don't know, it gives me some Misang vibes. It gives me some Stranger vibes. It's basically the story of this audit team at a big construction company. And as we start out, they don't have a team leader. And surprise, surprise, Shin Ha-kyun is their new team leader. And he's like, all of you are useless. You don't audit properly. You need to take this more seriously. And he's like this auditing killer. Like he like moves from company to company, cleaning up all the corruption, and then he leaves as soon as he's done. So
This
his
is
work
just a
history is like
wacky concept.
9 months to a year at each company. Yeah. I'm also like, who would hire this guy?
Yeah.
Like in this particular situation, it makes sense that they hired him because of like the power struggle in the company. But most companies would not want all of their crappy like dealings to be exposed in this way. Anyway, so his character is one of those like super straight-laced, sees everything as really black and white, has very strong ethics and is willing to fight for them even in the face of a powerful person, even in the face of like social disapproval. Like he doesn't care. He's gonna do it. Kind of like Jo Sung-woo in Stranger. He doesn't really care about social niceties. He's like, what's right is right. And then you have Lee Jung-ha's character, who is a rookie on the auditing team. He thinks he's a good person.
Yeah.
But it's kind of that contrast between someone who's nice versus someone who's actually good.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks that being nice is being good. But he's just kind of a people pleaser, but he doesn't really think critically about what is the ethical thing to do in this situation. He just tries to make the other person happy. And he's like, well, I have a relationship with this person, so I should be good to them. I should trust them. And Shin Ha-kyun's literally like, why are you doing this job? This
yeah.
is
Why
not
are you
suitable
in
for
this
you.
team?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, the company is very corrupt. So basically what you're going through is like, you're going through like different cases where they root out corruption, they expose it, and then they move on to another case. So it's kind of
and then
procedural in a way.
There's this
Go ahead.
overarching plot of like brothers struggling for the control of the company, and you have like initially it's very unclear what these brothers, like where they stand, what their motives are, and honestly it's still unclear. We are like 5 episodes in, it's still unclear. But it's interesting that that's in the background. You don't actually know what the final goal is of the current CEO who's brought this auditor in. Like it seems like he's trying to root out people in the like corrupt directors in the company who also happen to not be on his side. So, what happens when the searchlight turns to his activities? We will see, I suppose. I haven't reached that part yet. But there is one other character on this team, and I love her so much. It's Jo Aram's character, Yoon Sojin. And she is
she's great.
she is so cool. Like right off the bat. So as soon as Shin Ha Kyun's character, so his name is Shin Chail, as soon as he comes on board, she is so relieved. You could see the girl was suffering under the previous boss because he was very lackadaisical. He was sloppy in his work. The way like it's all about team dinners and like doing favors to other people, and she was not thriving in that environment. So the moment Shin Ha Kyun comes in and is like, look into this, look into that, be, critical about this. And
She's like,
"Yes."
finally, I have a manager that like knows what he's doing and matches with my work style.
She's like out with a pen and a notebook and immediately on point. I love it so much. And there's a really good contrast between Sojin and Hansu. Hansu is Lee Jung-ha's character, so the guy who thinks he's nice but hasn't actually quite figured out his moral standing yet. So because he keeps trying to persuade her, they're both like similarly aged, they're both like younger team members, and he keeps trying to persuade her to go easy on things, and she is like, you really are in the wrong team. Why are you an auditor? Because he's such a, oh my god, he's such a puppy to an extent. So again, I don't want to talk about anything that comes in episode 2. Okay, I will not talk about anything that, because I promised I won't. I will not talk about it. But basically, their dynamic.
Take my headphones off.
It's okay. Huh?
I can take my
No. We don't need to.
off.
No. It's nothing. It's nothing massive. I just really find their dynamic really interesting. Like as his perspective changes, like you keep thinking, oh, so he's gonna go straight, and then you see that he has bounced off to a totally different headspace, and she's
Honestly?
always the one who's like bringing him back to the, like, basically bringing him back to earth, so to speak. Like, with really succinct lines. Sorry.
She's excellent. I also want to give her a shout out because she's like the head resident, maybe. Is that what she was? The fellow, whatever. She was like in Dr. Cha. She's like her son's girlfriend, that actress.
Yeah.
I loved her in that. She has
Oh my
such cool girl
God.
energy. I'm so happy to see her again. And the other thing I want to say is about Hansu, the Lee Jung-ga's character.
Yeah.
I think they've done a really good job by, it's very well written. And so I'm really enjoying the drama. And also, I can't stand this boy. But I'm like very on board for his journey of like how he's going to evolve as a human being. But I'm
really
just like,
don't
oh my
like him.
God. I just want to smack you, right? Like there's so many moments where like, oh, please tell me you're not going to do this. And then he does it. And I'm just like,
he does
my
it, yeah.
God.
But
I mean, like, Zaya and I are literally holding our foreheads right now. Like,
No, I
in
agree.
unison.
I did not like him in the first couple of episodes. I was just like, but the thing that kept me rooted to this drama was how realistic he was. Like, yes, this is exactly how people who think they are good but are actually doing immoral things. This is how I can see
that's
his
why it's so-
trajectory. Like, could you, like, the guy who was retiring, the previous head of the auditor department, you could see that was the end result of Hansu today. Like, the Hansu, if he kept going on this trajectory, he would end up being that guy. If he does become the head of the department, he's done it on the back of like lots of favors to a lot of people. And the entire time he's told himself that he's a good person because he's, keeping the social bond together, not betraying his friends, allowing people to like just do their own thing without interfering too much, even though his job is to oversee that other people do things.
And
with
that's
integrity.
why it's so triggering, is because we all know this person and they cause so much damage, right?
They
Like
do,
that's
they
why
do.
it's like, so, but like, oh, it's just so well written, and the characters really come to life, and they're all played by like good actors who can, which is another reason why it's giving me like Me Sang Stranger vibes, is because it's like a great cast of really interesting people.
I was
that
really
you would meet
trying
in real
not
life.
to tell you guys that it was giving me like stranger vibes, because I was like, wait, then they'll expect another stranger. I shouldn't do that to this drama.
No, but it's like,
but
it's different. It is different. It's different from both of those shows, but I appreciate the differences too. Like it's different enough where it doesn't feel like it's trying to copy what those shows did, but it's like, in the same genre in the same corner of Dramaland. Anyway,
So, do
thanks
you
for
have
the
thoughts?
recommendation. I'm going to keep watching this.
I do enjoy the title. The title's very
Yes,
entertaining.
it is.
Kamsamida. It's like it's that double entendre again. Like it's Kamsamida. It's also Kamsa Hamida.
Oh, I didn't
I'm
even
gonna
notice
audit you now.
that.
Because
Oh,
kamsa
wow.
means to audit, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like, so it's
inspect,
both
audit,
like
yeah.
am auditing and it means thank you.
Wow.
I'm here to audit you now. Yeah.
You're not going to thank me.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Oh, this other Joaram moment that I really enjoyed, which comes a few episodes later, and it's not a spoiler. It's just at one point somebody says something to the tune of like, auditors are like police, kind of like in the company, and she's like, we work for a private company for a salary. That's not. Our interests are aligned with the company, not for social good. That we are nothing like the police. I mean, I would also agree that the police aren't always for social good, but like her point was honestly,
Yeah.
On
She
the
doesn't
mark.
let anyone get away with making like weird, janky analogies. She sets them straight. I appreciate that about her.
I have to say, when I started this, and as you're sort of first introduced to Shinha Kyun, and he's like going after these little corrupt people, a part of me is like, individual corruption within a company isn't really the problem. Like, the company is the problem. Like, that sort of corporate corruption from the top level, right? And so, like, it just feels like one of those things. And I don't know, like, I feel like it's sort of reaching into the upper levels of the company. So I'm holding that thought for now, but it was my opening thought. Like, just frustration.
Yeah, I had that too. I'm still hopeful that they will make a larger point because it, on the one hand, like this narrow focus on individual evil, as if the larger corporation doesn't enable this is not something.
But like often like these companies are like fundamentally unethical and antisocial and harm people.
Yeah.
You know? So because, that's what
Yeah,
Like,
I agree, and
corporations
I
do.
also feel like this is kind of always my issue anytime I go into like a cop. I mean, I know we're said they're not like the police, and we shouldn't make that analogy, but also like I feel this way when I watch a police drama. I feel this way when I watch
Yeah.
any type of crime drama. I feel this way when I watch a drama about prosecutors. Like,
it's a level.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
level of critique which refuses to sort of look at the
most of the time.
the
Yeah.
real issue.
Unless you're watching
Yeah.
like a stranger, it just never really goes
Yeah.
there. Stranger goes there.
I mean, I understand, like, obviously for storytelling reasons, you want to focus on, an individual and small stories. But if you're going out to make a kind of a real critique of the system,
I mean, also, I will say, I think it's interesting that they chose a construction company for this because construction is one of those notoriously terrible sectors in South Korea where, like, the corruption is so rampant and it's, like, well known that these companies will, like, cut corners in order to make money and they're putting up these, like, these buildings, like, very quickly to make a ton of profit, and also in a time when, like, the cost of housing is criminally high and people are suffering because of that. And so I think it's like a good target for a drama to have. I don't know like how far
Yeah.
their commentary
No,
is
I
going to
agree.
go. But we know that that's like a really bad problem, right? So yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, I've only watched, I lied. I didn't watch 2 episodes. I watched 3, but like I'm interested to see if they're actually going to tackle it.
It does
in a-
seem to be reaching higher as
Yeah.
the sort of episode progresses. So I want to see it go that far. Like, bring them down from the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. one difference between this and Stranger is, and why it reminds me a lot more of Misang, is like Misang has that sort of mentor-mentee relationship between manager O and Jangure, right? So here, it's not a partnership like Baedunas and Josungu in Stranger. It's more of like you have this young guy, and now like someone has come into his life who at first he's like doesn't understand. He's like, why are you doing this to me, sir? Kind of vibe. But like the more time they spend together, the more he's beginning to realize like, oh, I should perhaps believe and follow this man. Perhaps he's going to lead me to a better path. So I'm there for that journey of like them forming that mentor-mentee relationship, which I'm hoping that's where we're going.
Yeah, but
Have
I
you
also
seen Beyond Evil, Anisa?
I haven't.
Sorry.
No, I haven't seen Beyond Evil.
Okay, watch it.
yeah, watch it.
It's good.
It's really good. I resent that they paired these two up though, because I love Joaram's character here so much, and I feel like Yoon So Jin is like the natural mentee for Shin Chae-il. So I don't. Why couldn't it have been those two? Like,
Yeah, I
think
mean, I
it should
kind of
have
wish
been-
she was the main character. I'm not gonna lie, she would have been a great protagonist because she's also has things going on under the surface
Yeah.
that you don't first realize. But you know, it's a man-centered world, even in K-drama, I guess. So
Yeah. I'm just glad that they gave her zingers, and she's excellent. I hope she stays excellent.
Do you think she's kind of like the author Avatar?
Maybe because she does make some really stinging commentary just off the cuff, like just in the background, and you barely notice it. But she's always so far in these episodes, she's always had the right moral beat, even when she's not very sure of the path. If she is pointing towards a certain direction, you kind of know that eventually the story's morality will also align with that direction. So, yeah, it kind of feels that way. But yeah, so far she is so much more interesting to me than Hansu. But yeah, I will give Lee Jung-ha that he's doing his absolute best in this role. He really sells this annoying puppy. Look how cute I am and how lovable I am role, and our annoyance is a direct result of him being actually very good in this role.
yeah, well, I will say that I mean, I've seen him in Run On. You know, he's that young athlete that whose sake what's his name, Im Shi-won. He's kind of the one that Im Shi-won saves, and
Yeah.
then I also saw him. I mean, he was wonderful in Moving, and I feel like he has this very like. There's a way he plays like youth and innocence and I'm so harmless, and he has that little smile which like really worked for me in those roles and is really taking me off in this like man with a real grown-up job, and I'm like, really, like, are you a baby? Like, as a teenager it really worked for me. In this role it's like annoying me a little bit. It's not like a deal breaker or anything, but I'm just like, come on,
Yeah,
you're a
he's
grown
not-
person at this point.
He's not giving me main lead vibes with this kind of character. Like if you had somebody like Im Shi-hwan, like a much younger Im Shi-hwan in this guy, that it would like the missing Im Shi-hwan basically in a character like this, that would have worked a lot more for me. But also for the character they are trying to write, he's got the right note. Honestly, he's grown up in a loving family. Like they're not very rich or anything, but technically he's very privileged. He got his job through knowing the previous team leader. Like this guy is epitome of like
Gotten through connections.
yeah.
Yep.
But also like that kind of privilege. So he sees the world as a much easier place than it is because it has been for him. So it kind of makes sense for him to be the way he is. But I'm really hoping he grows up like and stops saying and doing really stupid shit soon.
Yeah, like if he has the kind of development that we're hoping for him, that would be an amazing arc. So,
Yeah.
and then it would be like satisfying for him to be the main character because we'll get to see so much development from him. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm hoping. Okay.
But it
we
should have
move
been
on?
Sojin.
But it should have been Sojin. But I think this was written by a man, so it wouldn't have been Sojin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
What's
next
the
one.
next show?
성남해분에서 일하던 사람이 재벌집 시집 가서 난리 났잖아. 그래, 해보자. 결혼으로 팔자 뒤집어 보는 판치기 배팅. 청남해분 한번 들어가서 유리구두 막 던지다 보면 뭔 일 나겠지.
벌써 럭키 드로우 성공?
나한테 뭐라도 해보려고 그랬어?
또라이 사장은 만나도 또라이 남자는 절대 안 만날 거예요.
Yeah, so the next drama is called Dreaming of a Freaking Fairytale. Interesting title. So my sister told me about this, and then I watched it, and then I told Paroma about it, and then she watched it.
Yeah.
It's a very light and fluffy and silly drama. It's not serious by any stretch of the imagination. It's kind of like a twist on Cinderella. It stars Pyo Ye-jin as the heroine, Shin Jae-rim, and Lee Eun-jung as Moon Cha-min. And like these are both people that I always enjoy in all of their roles. We saw Lee Jun-young. Well, I last saw him in Imitation, where he was amazing as, you know, the K-pop idol.
I saw
Who
him
Stole
in
Our
one
Hearts.
episode of that romantic one that he just did. What was it called? Inherit? No, something. Oh, you know, the one with EJ Work. Impossible Air.
The Impossible Air.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was Ichu. Okay.
That
Yeah,
was
he's
Lee
done
Joo,
a lot of dramas since Imitation. He was in DP. Oh, that's right. He was in DP. I just haven't watched
was in
any of the
DP?
other stuff that he's done since DP. But it was like only one. Like it was a guest role as well. But yeah, Hyo
May
Ye-jin-
I help you? That's the last one I actually saw him properly, like full drama. He did that with Harry.
So he is the person who inspired me to make the expression of Juingung face, which is like main character face. He's still got it. Pyo Ye-jin is one of those actresses who is always so likable on screen. Like every time she shows up, I'm just like, oh, I just really like you. And she plays this down on her luck girl whose dad just passed away. She lives with her stepmom and her two sisters. But in a twist, her stepmother is not evil, and neither are her stepsisters. They're just
No, but
all
she
kind of
makes-
poor.
She makes them sound like
She makes
they
them
don't
sound
love
kind of
her.
horrible, but like
Yeah.
they're fine. They're sweet.
fine.
And she needs a job, and she like finds this paper in her dad's like the thing that he left her is like go get a job at this place and just marry someone rich because it's like a social club for the ultra wealthy. And the male lead is the one who owns this social club for the ultra wealthy. And all he does every day is just like sulk and like mope around and carry his like fancy umbrella, which is called
Follows
Chairman
the
Gu.
joy.
He follows, yeah. His motto is follow your joy. And so he just like does whatever the heck he wants because he's rich and he's a Nepo baby and his dad gave him this business. And he has, you know, some mommy issues, which means he doesn't believe in love. And she just shows up, she starts working here, and she's like transparently like, yeah, I just want to marry someone rich. And what's so bad about that? And so their journey is just to like fall in love and her to be like, oh yeah, I could do something other than just marry rich. I could be my own person. And his journey is to open his heart to her, which doesn't take long, honestly. He's just lying to himself about it for a very long time. But they have amazing chemistry. It's really cute. It's really funny. Both of them are very charming. It's short and it's an easy watch. I think that's like 40 minutes per episode and 10 episodes. And it made me happy.
Yeah, it's okay. I will admit, I had to struggle through a lot of cringe for the first two episodes, because I loved Yujin, her character here, but it's the kind of character that like really like annoys me to my core, where she's just like she's looking at her own situation and making herself like she's got major main character syndrome. So she's like, I'm the Cinderella in this situation. My step siblings have never loved me. My mom doesn't love, and you can clearly see that they all really do. I mean,
She's fine. She has a
she's
fine life. Yeah.
Everybody thinks she's the mangne of the family and they take care of her, and yeah, siblings fight and it's a very normal thing, but she's made herself out to be like this poor person who's unwanted in the family, and she's like, I can't keep living in Seoul without like a really great job with like lots of money, so which is why I can't move out, even though my family wants me gone. Nobody wants her gone. And so she's like, I must get married because that's the only way I can get out of this situation. Like, basically, she's not Cinderella is what I'm trying to say.
It's just, but also like it's not that deep. It's very silly. It's very over the top. There's a narrator who's got this like wry and kind of sarcastic tone who's like narrating over this whole thing, and the narrator is so funny.
Yeah, it's also got like this fantasy kind of lens through which you have all of like the backstories are told through this fantasy lens. Like when her dad fell in love with like her stepmom, it's like this hurricane that happens in the middle of the playground because the two of them met and the chemistry was intense. It's stuff like that. It's hilarious. And everything about their developing feelings for each other, like Yejin and what's his name? Charmin, because that's a play on Charming.
He's charming because he's Prince Charming.
And it's like the narrator just like gives you like beat on beat narration of their changing feelings, and it's fun. I pestered Anisa initially because I was like, when does it stop being cringe? When am I gonna stop being annoyed at her? But actually, like she said, it's just so silly and sweet, and their chemistry is so good together that you stop being annoyed even if you
Anytime the two of them, like there are some side characters, couldn't care less about them other than her stepmom and stepsisters. I love them. But like there's some other random side characters. I'm like, whatever. I'm just here for Chamin and what's her name?
Yejin.
Yejin. No, that's her real name.
Yeah. I forgot. Shin Jerim.
Yes. I'm just here for Jadim and Chamin and Chairman Gu, the umbrella that's a hero of the story. There are a lot of heroic umbrellas in Dramaland this year. We're going to have an award category in the Gorgwas for umbrellas. But yeah, so they're...
Best umbrella.
Best umbrella award, yes. Chairman Gu is on there. He's on the list.
Yeah.
It's in a time of life when I'm very stressed by a lot of things, it was a great low stress kind of like, what do you call those? Just like a nice little escape drama. So thank you, Zainab.
Yeah. It's very much a streaming drama though. Like it's like a local streaming. Where is?
Wasn't it a TVing? What was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's specifically a TVing drama. So it's not even like widely watched or anything. It's meant to be a web series, and it's it very much went under the radar for the most parts. But I really like that you still have Lee Jung-hyun in dramas like these. He doesn't need to do dramas like this at this point. The guy has been getting like bigger and bigger projects, but I think he likes dramas like these because you would occasionally see him crop up in, relatively smaller romances. And I don't think a drama with Harry can be called a relatively small romance.
I mean, well, he's done the prestige thing, and yet even now, he doesn't take himself so seriously that he's not willing to take a role like this. And I love that. And also, you were talking about the return of mid-budget dramas. Yeah. And I love this because it's kind of like, you know what this reminds me of? Do you remember Bride of the Century with Honky?
I started rewatching that.
And like I can't remember the name of the actress that played the heroine. I haven't seen her in a while, but it was just like kind of silly, really out there. Cast was really charming. All you really cared about was like these two are so cute together. They didn't have a ton of money to spend on the sets, but like you don't really care. It's just fun. It's so nice. Sometimes that's all you want to watch.
Agreed.
That was a good drama.
It was a good drama. Bride of the Century was such an enjoyable watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started rewatching it quite recently. I didn't get far, but it was definitely, it was a good one. It's 10 years old now, I think. 2014.
Yikes.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think you're right, because I was watching it in my last year of school. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, why are we so old? Okay. So that's a recommend from us, right, Paroma?
I think so. Again, like, Anisa and I have different cringe levels. So for me, this was a struggle in the first 2 episodes, but I was entertained.
That's not the order I expected.
She was like, when does this stop being cringe? And I was like, the cringe is kind of the point. No, but I usually don't like cringe and over the top
Yeah,
things.
I'm pretty sure Anisa's tolerance is way
It usually
lower.
is.
No,
But, like-
I disagree. Anisa has high cringe tolerance. She has, a low tolerance for lack of logic, which is a totally different thing. I think I have a high
guess,
tolerance
yeah,
for lack of
maybe.
logic.
Me thinking Paroma has no standards.
Yeah, I probably don't.
Yeah, you kind of don't. But also, like, when you do, you do.
Well, I think it's also like I already went in with the right expectations because my sister told me, like, don't expect high art. It's very silly. And so, like, I'm telling you, listener, don't expect high art. It's very silly. But if you're in the right mood, you will laugh your head off and you will be full of joy when you finish this. So,
Yeah, Chamin is he's a good prince. He's a fun prince to watch.
yeah.
기적이라면 보통 시간이 멈추거나 뒤로 가거나 점프를 해야지. 왜 반대로 갔을까요? 저주 아닐까요? 이대로 합격 한번 못 해보고 접을 순 없다.
혹시 다른 언어도
DR.
전설의 인턴.
Okay, guys, I think we've come to the end of our list. Somehow we've still managed to make this almost an hour and a half.
Did you want to mention Miss Night and Day at all?
Oh, yeah. Did you end up continuing watching it? Because I watched the first episode and I liked it. I really liked the chemistry between the two actresses, like how they managed to do basically the same character. Like the transition was really seamless to me. I really liked that. But I kind of got a bit... So it's supposed to, at the end of the day, be a romance, right? And I am not super looking forward to that aspect of the drama where you have... I have to look up the actresses' names.
So I
Sorry.
watched one episode, I think, and I dropped it because I just see so many signs of this going to a place where I'm not going to enjoy. And as much as I love Jung Eun-ji and also, what's the older actress's name?
Lee Jung-yeon.
Lee Jung-yeon. Like, both of them, legendary actresses. I love them
Yeah.
both. They're both doing an amazing job in their roles. But, like, there are certain things about the way that's written already that were, like, driving me crazy.
Like what? Like what?
Just okay, so the premise of the drama is she wakes up one day. I don't remember what triggers it anymore, but like she's a different
cat.
person.
A cat. She tries to save a cat.
Oh
and
yes,
dives
the
into a
magical
well.
cat. So the magical cat makes her at night she's herself and during the day she's an older version of
Jung-yeon.
herself. Lee Jung-yeon, yeah. She like ages 30 years or 20 years or however much. And so now she has to and then like there's that whole storyline where like when she's in that body, she's trying to convince her parents that she's their daughter. But then when she goes back to her own body, she conveniently just doesn't mention that was her the whole time. I cannot. Like, it's just a transparent plot to drag the reveal out for a long time. And my sister was telling me that even between the leads, that reveal gets dragged on for a really long time. And I just know that that's going to make me really angry. And so
Okay,
I'm just
but
not going
Anisa,
there.
like, tell me something. How is it that dreaming of a freaking fairy tale gets such a long rope with you, but not this one? How is it?
Because it's not asking me to take it seriously in any way.
But like neither is this. You have this girl turning into an older woman during daytime and going to work at a prosecutor's office where she got the job through some senior apprentice program.
I didn't even make it that far, Paroma.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know. There's like certain dynamics between characters, even like her interactions with him. It's just like the way it's written is just very frustrating to me. And like,
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I'm not enjoying it. So I'm like not going to continue.
I think it would have worked. I mean, again, honestly, I still do keep want to watching this because of Yoonji and because of Lee Jung-hyun. I was not expecting the transition between the two of them to be so seamless, but it was. So I kind of want to watch these two actresses a little more. But the thing with Cho Jin-hyuk is I like this actor so much, but he makes such a crap romantic lead. I don't remember the last drama where he was an enjoyable romantic lead. Why does he do romances?
Well, the
like
thing
maybe
is,
the
the
zombie
way
detective
what
one,
we've
but that
seen
wasn't a
of
romance.
him, what we see of him in episode 1, I'm like, I'm not rooting for this romance. So I'm not interested in that aspect either. Where like, also when they're lying to each other,
Yeah.
and it's really
The whole
hard for me to get
catfishing
on
thing
board.
Is not, the
Yeah,
catfishing
which
thing
is like
not fun.
that's another reason why, like, yes, streaming a very freaking fairy tale, very silly, but there's no real big lie like this, and I
like,
struggle with a big lie.
You have the protagonist coming out and on the very first day of work going like, I'm working here so I can fall in love with a rich man and marry him.
Yeah, she doesn't lie about anything. She's like, yeah, that's why I'm here. He's like, wow, okay. And then
And he storms off because his last employee left because she married a
one
rich
of the
guy.
customers. Yeah. So he's like, has it out for her. Yeah. So it's just the lie, the catfishing part. That's like, you have to do a really good job of writing the drama if you want me to swallow that, and it's just not doing that. So I don't think I'm going to continue watching it.
I may continue and I will let you guys know next time if I did. Until then, we do kind of recommend Dreaming of a Freaking Fairy Tale and not quite Miss Night and Day.
Yeah, or if you're watching Miss Night and Day and it's not going off the rails and you're actually really enjoying it,
let
please
us
tell
know.
us. Yeah,
Tell
'cause
us.
we would like to know about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where can people find us on the internet?
They can find us on the Twitters at where? Dramas Overflow.
You're the one who came up with this handle, Saya.
Many, many years ago. I remember nothing. And they can find me at Not Now Saya, where I never tweet.
And you can find me at Anisa Khalifa _ where I barely tweet.
And you can find me, Paroma, at the Drama Notes, where I honestly have kind of stopped tweeting. You can find me on Threads far more often now. The Dramas Over Flowers Instagram is dramasoverflowers _ and you can email us at dramasoverflowers@gmail.com.
And you can subscribe to our newsletter at dramasoverflowers.substack.com or click the link in the description.
And that's it. You can find us in all of those places. And you can kind of tell like this was not the best time of the day for us to record.
Yeah, it's like after work for me. What time is it for you, Saya?
It's nearly midnight.
Yeah, and what time is it for you, Paroma?
Also after work.
It's like close to 4:30 a.m. right now. And we started when it was
After
like
work
3
for
a.m.
everyone.
Yeah, it's after
Oh
work.
my gosh. So, yeah, just email us and tell us if you never want us to do this again. Because maybe we're not the best judges of how this went.
Yeah. Usually we do this when it's like morning for Anisa, afternoon for Saya, and evening for me. But that can only happen on like Sundays, and like not all Sundays are free. So which is why you guys don't get regular episodes now, you know. Okay. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you in another episode at some point. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't unsubscribe.